Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of After the Bell. It's episode 15. I'm going to go around and we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm Jamshed. Who else have we got today?
Yes, Daniel here.
We've got Samson as well.
Cool. And that's the lineup for today. So episode 15, follow us before we get started. Follow us on Instagram, After the Bell Boxing, and follow us on Twitter at Bell Boxing. There's some interesting conversations we're having on Twitter at the moment, so you should definitely jump on that. But yeah, guys, man, what are we talking about today?
Talk about the fight that happened last night, this morning. Terence Crawford versus Kell Brook. Crawford won by what would you call it? Referee stopped the fight basically.
Yeah. Or was it a quit? Or did he quit?
Sorry?
Or did Kell Brook quit?
I don't think he quit, man. I think he could have continued.
You know you can quit for your body language.
Is that what you think happened?
I don't know if his heart was there. I mean, it was summed up by Joe Tessitore at the end. Go back to Britain and take your 2 million. I don't know if you guys saw the live fight, but that's what he literally said. It seemed very personal.
Right. That sounds really.
He said, go back. He said, go back to Britain with your 2 million. But yeah, I don't know, man. Crawford obviously came to fight, but I don't know how Kell Brook how it ended so quickly and dramatically. It was just all of a sudden. I literally text my boy saying, "Oh, what happened?" I looked at my phone and I just saw him stumbling across the ring. What's going on? But yeah.
You watched it live, yeah?
Yeah, I watched it live, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kell Brook's damaged goods anyway. I think this is a continuation of him being beat up by Triple G, Errol Spence, and now Crawford.
Boy.
So,
And
yeah.
I think I'll just probably piggyback off of that as well. It's just like I think at the end of the day, we just saw that Brook can't compete at that top level anymore. Because for the first 2 rounds, I probably had Brook winning both of them. Not through doing anything special, but just by doing enough, being the more active fighter. But then as soon as Crawford started upping the tempo, and as soon as basically he got hit with anything, Brook he just collapsed. He just crumbled. So he got hit with a I think it was a right hand that knocked him. And then from there, it was just, and Crawford's a good finisher as well. So it was just no defense after he got a standing 8 count. Then from there, Brook just didn't, he couldn't put up a fight basically. So I think it's just that, whether Brook's even got enough to continue fighting, I don't know. Because I saw some of the interviews afterwards where he was saying that, he's not sure what he's going to do. He's having a discussion with his family. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think what you said is right, man. Like the first 2 rounds, it was actually pretty quiet from both fighters, and maybe he was comfortable at that speed. But what you're saying is right. Like as soon as the speed picked up, he couldn't really hang anymore.
Couldn't hang it. No, he couldn't. He really couldn't.
Which is telling actually for such an experienced fighter. It's like, raw fam, what went wrong?
He's coming to the end though, isn't it? I think that's what it is. Like he's coming to the end of his career. If he's not already at the end of his career now. And as Sam said, he's taken, going into this fight, the 2 losses he took their toll on him physically.
How do you mean? How do you mean physically?
Well, because when he fought Triple G, he jumped up, I think it was 1 or 2 weight classes. And he had, I think it was his left orbital bone in his face, basically his eye broken.
Mad.
So he had to have titanium put in that orbital bone. And then when he fought Errol Spence, he had the other one broken. So he's right.
Oh my days.
So obviously, he's taken punishment, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know that might actually explain it then a little bit, you know? Like stuff like that. Even if you're at an elite level, it can actually play with your mind.
Absolutely. still dealing with the mental scars of that.
Yeah, because that's mad. That's really bad damage, man. He could have lost his eyesight twice. Two fights in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He's caught a lot of mileage. I'm not allowed to.
Yeah.
So I mean, not to take away from Crawford. Crawford came to fight. Crawford's obviously one of the best fighters in the world, if not the best. But I wouldn't see that as a monumental win for Crawford. In retrospect, it could have been if we saw, the Kell Brook of old when he beat Shaw Porter, and before the Triple G fights, sorry. But I think, Kell Brook is damaged goods, man. It's no real indication as to how great Crawford is, and Crawford is good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to be fair to Kell Brook, he had a bit of success in the first 2 rounds. I had him winning round 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But it went pear-shaped from round 4, basically.
Do you know after that standing count, it's almost like he froze in place. It's like he froze in place, and then Crawford just came in and done the same thing again.
Yeah, literally. But I think also with Crawford, this is a second fight against a top, in my opinion, top welterweight where he hasn't really been tested. I mean, the Amir Khan fight ended very quickly.
Yeah.
This fight ended quite quick. His only notable fight he's had was last year against I forgot his name. I think he went against him. And he didn't look the sharpest in that either. And he got caught. We got clocked by a few jabs by Kell Brook, and his eye started to swell after the 4th round. So it'd have been interesting to see how that would have panned out over the next few rounds, because I haven't seen Crawford pass up like that before.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think probably something similar to you with Crawford at the moment. I think if he steps in with like an elite welterweight, he's going to need to up his activity in the first round. Because you saw against Brook, he didn't really throw much in the first round and the second round. They didn't land with much either. But then then when he did step it up, you could see Brook wouldn't have been able to hang with him basically. And I know it's hard to say because the fight lasted like 10 minutes. So we're dealing with a lot of information here that we can take a lot from. Hit him once, and then when he went for the finish, he finished him.
Done him.
So, I think I probably have Crawford as probably the number 1 pound for pound at the moment. But yeah, I think if he fights one of those more elite welterweights or those top guys at the weight, which Brook unfortunately isn't anymore, then he's going to need to be more active. He won't be able to be a slow starter in the same way he was. Well, maybe he won't be. Maybe this is part of the game plan because he knows with these guys, I've probably got enough in the tank to finish them no matter what. So I can start a bit slower. But that would be the only thing I say. But I think he's won every fight welterweight by knockout now, hasn't he? He's stopped all of his opponents.
Jeff Horn, Benavidez, Amir Khan, that dude he fought before.
Yeah.
Did I say Jeff Horn? Jeff Horn as well.
Yeah. So that's quite, even though it's not like littering like starlit names and the elite names, it says something that he's stopping everybody. As a guy that people say is small as well. So.
But like I said, I think, and this is the thing for every boxer. You're only good as your last fight, and we always want to see you step up your competition. So this is not a thing of saying that Crawford hasn't fought any notable fighters. We just want to see him continuously test himself against the best. So the Sean Porters of the world, the Danny Garcias, then eventually moving on to the Errol Spencers. Do you know what I mean? Because I still feel like the jury's out on whether Crawford can really hold it down in this division. Like you said, Loman. Yeah, so I just want to see him step up his competition. And I mean, he's part of top rank right now. Yeah, he's part of top rank right now. And I don't see anybody right now who can fight, who, you know, would really, really put him to the conversations of, like, you know, he could be an all-time great. He can be an all-time great. But politics, you know, why did he re-sign with Bob Arum? I don't understand.
Well,
It wasn't necessary.
I think that was something that was quite interesting as well. I don't know if you guys saw some of the interviews after the fight, but it was an interview of him and Bob Arum speaking. And Bob Arum said, "Oh, like, we're happy to put him in with whoever. We'll put him in with Danny Garcia and Errol Spence on the same night."
He's such a gasser, I swear. He gasses so much. This guy's been around since Frank Sinatra. This guy is a dinosaur fan.
Then when they asked Crawford, they were like, "Oh, who do you want next?" Crawford said he went Pacquiao.
And
it's interesting because a lot of people drew the same comparison. It's the same one that if you ask people, when they've asked Errol Spence who he wants next, and Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are the two names at welterweight, which everyone is sort of recognizing as the top two and wants to see fight. Errol Spence also says he wants to fight Pacquiao. So I don't know. Like I think it might be for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, Pacquiao has a belt. In the cases, Pacquiao doesn't have long left in boxing.
Yeah.
He's a massive name to put on your resume, even at this age.
100%.
But I think probably it's also the money element which probably comes into it as well.
And just by way of context, Terence Crawford is number 3 pound for pound, and Errol Spence right now is number 5 pound for pound. So they're both top 5 pound for pound.
This might be a controversial one, and we can talk about it, but I think Spence is a bit too high on the pound for pound at the moment.
I think we even said that last time we spoke about it.
I don't think his resume is deep enough to be number 5 pound for pound yet.
But yeah, to go back to what you're saying, that is the fight that everyone wants to see, and they both want to fight Pacquiao. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think an element of that is definitely the money thing, because Pacquiao will undoubtedly both of their biggest paydays, and probably will be the biggest payday for both of them, no matter who they fight in the future, even if they fight each other.
Yeah.
But
it makes sense.
Pacquiao sounds like he's going to fight McGregor or something, innit? But that's a whole different story.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's been rumoured.
It has been rumoured, yeah.
So that's a whole. But
I think that just goes to show where Pacquiao's mind is right now. I think it's about money.
Precisely.
So he's on his way out, man. Whoever fights between Crawford or he's just highest bidder in it. Crawford or Errol Spence. He's going to give away the belt. His heart is not in boxing anymore, man. I mean, his last fight against Thurman.
It was he beat Thurman, didn't he? Actually.
Yeah. So. They're looking to cash out on him.
Yeah, but I suppose just before we probably wrap up, what do we think is next then for Kell Brook then? Because we sort of said Crawford, we want to see him ideally in a fight with Spence or another top welterweight again. Obviously the guy that lost, what do you want to see next from him, if anything? Will he finally fight Amir Khan?
I mean, if he wants a payday, I mean, both of them are finished anyway. So maybe that'll be a good fight we can actually see after. But funny enough, though, both of them shouldn't be where they're at in their careers right now, in terms of like their decline in skill and popularity. This should have been like some of their prime years. If you think about it, like in boxing terms, 30, 33, 34 is not really that old. It's not really that old when you consider like the, Pacquiao's and Mayweather's that went up into their 40s. But then again, they're elite athletes.
Yeah.
So, but for Kell, to answer your question, Kell Brook probably should retire.
That's what I think. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think Amir Khan probably should as well, but that's a different subject.
Yeah, same.
To be honest, though, I think I agree with you. I think Brook will probably be the last we see of him. You never know. He might get like an easy fight back home in Sheffield or something. So I might line something up for him to retire. But yeah, I think it probably just speaks to both Brook and Amir Khan that the reason probably they've had this sharp decline is because they've thrown themselves into some like crazy fights that they probably shouldn't have.
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah,
100%.
I think Brook, more than likely that'll probably be the last we see of him.
Yeah.
And you can't, like, we can discuss this more if it actually happens, but I know, man, Kell Brook's had a good career in it, so I think he could probably look back with very little regrets, really.
Yeah. I mean, looking back, the only thing he might think to himself, he probably shouldn't have done it, is fight Triple G, but
Yeah.
it was a risk, and
You
it
can't
didn't
knock him
pay
too
off.
much for it, though, innit?
Yeah. It was a good fight. I did tune in to watch because it sounded like a good fight, but yeah. But yeah, it's just it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Cool. Right, guys, that's another episode of After the Bell, episode 15. And we're going to be back soon. And the next episode it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting one. So make sure you tune into that. But yeah, man, I've been Jamshed.
I'm Daniel.
And Samson.
Cool, man. Peace.
Okay.